Hey everyone, welcome to Ellis Mowers. We're going to work on this Snapper rear engine rider today. I've had it a little while. Y'all saw a video of it on trade. I had to do a little bit of work on the front axle with the wheel bearings and such. And I've had it. I cut the yard I think once with it, but now I have my Husqvarna 48-inch rider with the 3-bin bagger. I have no need for this anymore because I do have a bagger attachment for it as well, and so I kind of want to sell it for leaf / pine straw pickup, whatever people have in their yard here. So what I'm going to do is go over this real quickly. This is a newer one. This is a 2007 model. It's a 28-inch high vac, and it has the 11.5 horsepower Briggs overhead valve engine on it. Your date code is 070321. Your model number is 217802. So relatively small displacement. Most of the 19s are like 17.5 horsepowers are like 31 cubic inches. This one's only 21. But what's cool about this mower is that it is pull start only, believe it or not. This is a bare bones basic snapper. It even has the provision in the engine cover for a start, and even has a little plate under it to compensate for the starter not being there. So air filter is in okay shape from what I can tell. It's decent, and this air filter is actually on the small side compared to what other air filters are. See, it's a little bitty thing. It's like this is basically like a baby, like 19.5 horsepower or 17.5 horsepower from this era. So I'm gonna leave this off because we do need to get into the carburetor and probably clean some gunk out of it. It does run, however, it does surge, and it does throw a bunch of black smoke out, trying to compensate, the choke trying to compensate. One other thing that's bad on it is the throttle cable's broken, or at least I thought it was. Oh, this portion of the throttle cable's broken, so I might be able to fix that. We'll see what I can do with that. So the cable itself, the cable proper is not, but just the mounting portion of it is. Ouch. So I might work on that a little bit, see if I can get it to where it will function like it needs to. It should be an easy fix, hopefully. The intake tube is a little cracked, but that's pretty common. They did set this thing up weirdly with the choke, and I'll have to see if I can fix the throttle cable. They got the choke kind of weird on this thing, to where you have to like pull it out to choke it and push it in to unchoke it, and it's not the most reliable. However, like I said, I do want to see if I can crimp that back so that the throttle cable works like it is supposed to. As you can see, it's really, the alignment of it's pretty far off. So a couple of little items. The third item is it does need a deck belt. The deck belt is pretty rounded on it from where it's just been, I guess, used. It's probably the original deck belt and just been flapping around and probably flipped upside down at one time. So I got that going on. But the good news is we can work on this thing standing up, which is going to make it a lot easier. So first things first, though, I'm going to grab, I believe those are 7/16 or half, definitely one of those two. Take those bolts off, we're going to get this cover off. So let me go ahead and get the tools. I'll go ahead and pull it in the garage out of the wind, and we'll get started. Alright, so these are 7/16. There's 4 of them. I'm missing one of them on the right front for whatever reason. I'm going to get the remaining 3 off, though. Pretty long. That one's really short. Somebody put anti-seize and grease or something on them screws, those top ones. Now it's just a process of trying to get this thing off. Let's see what we can do here. It's kind of interesting here. Let me see how I can figure out this thing to get it off. Let's lower this deck lever. Aha! Thank you. Okay, let's show you the situation. Pretty easy. Here, once you get that cover off, that's actually relatively easy compared to the old style covers. You can see this belt's kind of rounded itself off. Probably the original belt, which would make it 13 years old. All I gotta do is get around this pulley, get it around this pulley, which that's the tight portion right there. So let me get it around that real quick. Okay. Now the tricky part is getting it off of the back pulley, and I don't know exactly the best way to do that. So let me investigate real quick, and then I'll get right back with you. All right, I'm going to show it to you best I can. So I'm actually going to physically tilt the mower up. Raise that deck up some. Okay. So here's what I'm gonna do. The deck is already off. Need to sharpen this blade anyways while I got it up. The deck is already off. I'm basically just gonna pull this deck belt. I'm literally just gonna pull it out. So what I'm gonna do, you gotta get it on the bottom of the pulley. I have the park brake on the mower. So I gotta get it around the bottom of the pulley. Your binding point is gonna be where your park brake and drive disc come together. So just make sure you can get it around that. Just gotta be careful. I'm gonna get y'all up here and I'll do it with two hands. Hopefully y'all can see what I'm doing. There we go. So for the record, I also have the mower in 5th gear, which is the highest gear possible. Let me show you the condition of this belt real quick. Hopefully y'all can see it. It's a bunch of cracks and mess all in it. So it needs a belt. You can throw that one in the trash. And we'll pop a new belt on it here. And I'm going to take a grinder to that blade right there. Get it nice and sharp again for the new owner. When we get the belt, we'll pop it back on together. Alright, so real quickly, I got 3/4. Wrench on this side, socket on this side to take the blade off. Okay. Got a little bit of junk, but you can see the blade's pretty dull. I'll sharpen it up. Also, I'm going to clean the threads up on this these bolts as well. Get a little bit of trash out of the top of that right there. All right, let me sharpen it. We'll put the deck belt on next. Excuse me. So I actually take back what I said earlier. These are actually like U-groove belts on both sides, believe it or not, which is kind of cool. I thought they were just a regular V-belt, but they are not. So let's go ahead and get it back on just like I got the old one off. You can see my shadow here in the sunlight. The hardest part is just going to get it to where we get it around the clutch. Once we get it around the clutch, we're golden. So I'm going to feed it back through the rear axle. Around the clutch. Excellent. So now what I'm going to do is just kind of feed the belt up through the, let's see, up through the pulley, around the back. So now I just need to take and put it through this. Well, there you go. Okay. Now I'm just making sure it's not twisted or anything. Fit it on the groove in the rear there. Well, that's me. Okay. Now, I'll feed it through the deck here. Shoot, we might as well just do it while it's in the air. It's going to be just as easy. Feed it up through the deck. Hopefully I can see from the sun. Sorry. There we go. Oops. I gotta go on top of the cross member. Go on top of the cross member. I've tried to go under. So the cross member right there. We're gonna go over instead of under. So what you see is incorrect. I'm just gonna feed it up through there. You can kind of see what I'm going to be doing right there. So give me just a second. Okay, I'm going to pop it onto, sorry to keep moving y'all everywhere, but pop it onto let's do the big pulley first. I'm trying to fit it along this groove over here. Just got to pull it around that guide. There we go. So that side's in. Let me move you one more time. Now we just go inside this pulley. And we're going to be in good shape. This is the hardest one to get on. Push that guide out and get it in there. But anyways, that's your last guide to get on. If you just kind of work on it a little bit, you'll eventually get it in there. I'll do that off camera. Y'all know the gist of what to do there. I'll set it back down. We'll test out the blades to make sure they're working properly, and then I'll put everything back on here. And then we will get into the carburetor situation. Alright, so very quickly before I take this down, and the sun is killing me. 9/16 on the back. Ratchet and socket and a wrench. Just literally physically took the pulley up and just put the belt in between that pulley and the guide. The guide will pull up separately. That was the best and easiest way to do it. Let me get this thing down. Before I put the cover on it, like I mentioned, I'm going to test out the blades. And before we get into doing that. So, getting close, guys. Okay, y'all, I think I got it as good as I'm going to get it here, throttle-wise. What happened was the throttle, the spring had come undone here, and I can't for the life of me get the spring off. I might try cutting it off a little bit more. But, I got it working decently. That's low throttle, that's full throttle, and then choke pulls that arm up right there that you could see. That pulls up kind of middle bottom of your screen. So I'm going to work on that a little bit more, push this mower down, and then we will probably do a carb clean on it, and hopefully that will resolve any issues that we have with it running wise, and then we'll be ready to sell it. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're just going to test everything out to make sure it works at this point. I haven't put the blade brake, the plastic cover back on. The throttle cable I hope is fixed. We're going to test that out while we're at it, and then we are going to see how we go along with that. I haven't fixed the choke yet. I will fix that in just a second though. So I'm going to make sure the throttle works okay, and then make sure the blades work okay, and then we'll move on to the carburetor. So let me hop on it. hear it a little bit right there. You hear it a little bit right there. How about that? Alright, so belt's good. Cutting on all heights. We can put that back on. I could smell a little bit of rubber from where it is a little bit tight, but I'd rather it be a little tight than a little loose. And what else? Throttle's working. Carb sounds like it's got a little bit of gunk in it, so what I'm going to do next, it's going to be a little bit of a tricky, it won't be too bad to get to the carburetor right there. I will stay away from the muffler though. This is going to be a pretty cool, stout little lawnmower when I finish with it here. What else am I going to do here? We're going to get the carburetor off, we're going to check it out, see if we can make it run a little bit better than it is. Check out that fuel filter. Might check that fuel filter first to make sure it's not clogged. And see what we got. I think I got a little bit of gunk in the carb, but that's it. Let me grab it and grab that real quick. And I'll show you how to get everything off here. Going pretty decent so far, I would say. So let me work a little bit. We'll get going. So I'm starting to lose battery life on this camera. I just want to tell you what I'm going to do here. I'm going to get this cover back on like y'all saw me get it off. We're going to use some 3/8" bolts. I'm missing one right there. I'll have to find one to put in there. 1, 2, 3. And then the fourth, obviously. We'll get the air filter off here real quick. There's a little bit of a tight fit here for this setup, but with a little 11.5, I got enough room to work on it. So let me get these 3 off. I'll show you what I need to do. Excuse me, sorry guys, to get the rest of it off. Alrighty, y'all. So next, this and this is a 7/16. So 2 7/16 reveal what will be 2 8mm deep wells. And you can use a small impact or a hand ratchet to get those off. I am going to clamp the fuel line off right here with some cutter, excuse me. Can't find the words. And I'm going to check that fuel filter while I'm at it. And just check the fuel lines. The fuel lines seem to be okay, so I don't think I'll have to worry about that. But yep, 7/16 will reveal 8mm, and you just take your linkages off after that. Well, here's something that's pretty rare. Here's a Nicky carburetor that has a blank for where the fuel solenoid usually goes. Obviously, because this is not an electric start, it's a delete. I bet you don't see many of those. But let's take a look at see how the carburetor is. Like I said, I got a cabinet in progress here. Pretty soon y'all will be seeing this with 4,500 lumens on it, so that'll help out a lot. Alright, let's see what we got here. So we have I mean, it's not terrible. I've seen worse. A little bit of gunk in the bottom of the carb there. A little bit of gel up kind of up top right there. Let's take off this tube real quick. So just a little bit of gunk in the jet. That's probably what's causing my problem, but really honestly nothing really atrocious by any means. Nothing that carb cleaner can't do. Nothing carb cleaner can't fix. That jet's pretty clean for what it is. Yeah, that jet's really clean actually. So I think my issue lies The issue lies right there, guys. I'm pretty sure, if I can show you, right there, I got a little bit of gunk in there. So all I'm going to do, let's give it a little bit of a carb clean here. Just make sure all this gunk and stuff, and make sure those tubes are clean. Make sure that area is clean and all that. So a little bit of carb cleaner should dress this right back up. It's running okay, like y'all heard, but not 100%. I want this thing running 100%. Make it a nice little snapper for somebody. So let me go ahead and get to work. Like I said, my battery's dying. I'll go ahead and throw this on the charger. We'll get back on it and see if it runs any better. Alrighty, I'll put the carburetor back together, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and put the air filter back on it. And it works great. I tested it. The first time, I accidentally put the jet back on backwards. Oops. So, let's get the air filter back on here. Might just go off the cuff here, because my tripod's back in the back of the air filter. And it's in the back of the garage, so, and the cover, boom. Alright, I'll get that cover back on it as well. Alright, switch is on, park brake is on. That's what these newer ones have. Let's see if it'll start without choke. No, let's put some choke on. Maybe not. Sometimes I have to push this pedal down a lot. Sometimes I have to push that pedal down all the way for it to crank. Runs good, doesn't it? Air filter covers a tight fit right there. That's idle. That's full throttle. Thing's running like a dream. It's running excellent. I gotta top it off with oil and put this cover back on it. Let me do that. And it's getting dark. I might go ahead and put the bagger on it, and tomorrow afternoon I might just test ride it before I wash it and list it to sell. So I'm debating on whether I want to put a little seat cover or something on this. I think I might cut me one of them seat covers just to make it look a little bit better. So let me put the little plastic cover back on it, and also put the bagger attachment onto it. I'll cruise around and wash it, and when it's more daylight, I'll show you the final product. Well, here's the final look here for the Snapper. I have washed it, cleaned it, and we're going to sell it, right? Just in time for leaf season. Love to get it gone pretty soon, so I don't have to hold it over the winter. These things are amazing at picking up pine straw and leaves with the high vac system. I sharpened the blade on it. It's beautiful. Blade has great lift and everything. So, as a quick review, let me take you off the tripod and let's walk around one more time. I aired up the tires. And what else have I done here? We've done quite a few things to this. Fixed the throttle cable, which worked out well. The throttle cable is working great now. I just shortened it a little bit because the spring action was kind of off of it. It had kind of come unsprung over the course of time, and it's kind of doing it right there, but it's still operating as it needs to, still throwing the choke and all that good stuff. So that's good. Put a new pour rope in it when I got it. Had to put bearings in the front wheels. I did have to repair the bagger back here as well. This bagger is from an 80s Snapper, and so it's getting pretty brittle and pretty old. However, it is still functional. It is not the prettiest thing in the world, and I will advertise it as a functional bagger. However, it probably needs, probably nearing the end of its life. So, but this high-vac bagger is awesome. It does have, somebody did cut the discharge chute, which is kind of hate that, but nothing really I can do about that. New deck belt and a carb clean, I think I already mentioned. So hey, it's a good mower. Obviously we have the cosmetic flaw with the seat. I thought about putting a cover on it, but then again, this has got the Snapper name on it, so I just kind of was like, you know what, somebody will appreciate it. I'm going to list it for $400, see what I get for it. This is a later example of one of these Snappers, and they are getting hard to find in good condition, and this one's probably pretty darn good for what it is, so I think I can get pretty close to that price for it here in my area. But we'll see. The only minor thing I've noticed is that, you know, these newer Snappers have a bunch of different like little safety levers and whatnot on them. The one that I've noticed is that sometimes I have to push the parking brake down, even though or push the clutch even further down than where the parking brake is, just because I think that cable is stretched a little bit to start it. But it's doing everything else that it needs to be doing in order for it to work properly. So it has been maybe about 30 minutes since I started it, so let's see if it starts without any choke. It did a cold start today perfectly after about the third pull, after I had to push the brake down a little bit. But here we go. I just love the simplicity of this thing. Pull start. Really the only moving parts you got is a drive wheel and a deck belt. So I'll hop on it. I'll show you the blades and everything work. We might go for a quick drive, and we'll be done with this one. Also, we need to ride because I gotta get this water off of the friction wheel. Deck belt's working on all settings now. The old one was so stretched and cracked that it was barely working under anything other than level 5. Alright. We'll idle it down. And we're gonna do the obligatory Snapper lawnmower or riding mower christening. We're gonna pop a wheelie with it. Hang tight. got to do those in first and second, and fifth is a little bit too much friction. This is what I tried. This thing right here will pop wheelies all day long though. And that's a good sign for these snappers, because that means the friction wheel's in good condition. So you're honestly not gonna hurt anything. It's kind of like a clutch in a almost like a clutch in a race car. The clutch is either in or out. There's really no friction point. So that's this. I hope y'all enjoyed the video, me getting this ready. You know, I kind of wanted to keep it, but with a ½ acre and only mowing 28-inch swaths whenever I have my, I'll show it to y'all again, my 48-inch Husqvarna with the 3-bin bagger, it just does not make sense for me to keep both. So, and as you can see, I'm kind of hurting for space anyway. So, I mean, when I have something like that with a 3-bin bagger, I don't need anything else. I mean, I love the old Snapper rear engine riders, but I don't need it. And usually if I don't need it, it doesn't stay. So, but I absolutely love this one because of it's not an electric start. It's just a pull start only, which means that there's just less to go wrong. It's a lighter mower. The bagger is easy to put on, easy to take off. It just works. So, and the engine's in good nick. The last two that I've had have been the 80s models, and I think the governors have been out of whack. So, anyways, I appreciate y'all watching. Got a bunch more lawnmower videos coming up in the future. Wednesdays and Sundays at 8:00 p.m. Eastern Time right here on the channel. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Ellis Mowers 09. Keep up the support. Thank y'all for watching. Feel free to subscribe. If you like this content, try and keep it consistent, but also try and keep it in depth for you, as well as somewhat entertaining. So thank you for watching again, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.